Welcome
Hey, everybody.
to our Monday podcast. We're Midgards well.
Happy Monday.
And today we're going to be talking about the Dibs theory.
And within our kindred, we actually have two different theories within the Dibs theory. So we're going to try to dive into both. So the Dibs theory I developed is basically all pantheons exist. Every single one. And when a mortal comes into the world, so us humans, whichever gods that they were fated to go to or whatever, they're like, Dibs, humans mine. However, you don't always get to that path originally. For instance, I was Christian first, and I tried going down the Egyptian path, and then Native American, because I'm Cherokee, and it's just, I kept trying to smorgasbord it, and then I ended up in Norse, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm home, and then that's how I ended up with the Dibs theory there. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. I just don't talk about it a lot.
It's a neat theory. I believe it too. And especially with how you said, beginning with Christianity and stuff like that, there is free will. And once you find the place, it all of a sudden starts making sense. Like with Christianity, it didn't feel right. It was the religion that I grew up in, so I thought that was the religion I had to be in. Until I started, dabbling in heathenry, and all of a sudden I was like, everything makes sense.
I feel whole and alive.
Yes!
Praise the gods.
So what's the other theory?
Yeah.
Oh, see, originally when we talked about this, and I was like, Dibs theory, you brought up a completely different one, and I was just like, well, that's not my theory, man. You had brought up one where basically the gods within our pantheon are just like, that human's mine, I'm going to be their patron.
It's more of a, okay, yes. So, my Dibs theory more or less goes off of the ideology of a certain person has a certain set of characteristics that attune to certain gods. I call them patrons. It's just an easier word to use. Teacher, guide, shadow walker, whoever is right there next to you throughout most of your time. Whereas she thinks it's an entire pantheon can be like, yo, that person. I think that we have the power to put ourselves into a pantheon, and then the second you kind of get yourself into that lottery, then someone's like, I'm 20 down on that guy. And then it's like, I got 50. Shit, $1 against him. Ha ha ha. That's usually Loki.
Damn it, Loki.
So to me, I think that it is, we choose the pantheon that we believe in, and then once our heart has settled on something and we have found that home, then the specific god's like, I like that guy. Mine.
Dibs.
Right.
I could see where these would actually kind of work together.
Yeah.
Like,
There's dibs.
Dibs and double down.
And then there's little dibs. Yeah.
right. So,
David Dibs.
kind of like with us, the Norse Pantheon, it's just like, I want these ones. These are mine. Don't touch them. And then the Egyptians are like, bet.
And then you randomly start talking to like cats, and Bass is like, come to the dark side.
And then
Freya
Freya's
says
in the
no.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Freya's like, no, come to me.
Yeah.
We have cooler cats.
So what about those that are under two different pantheons?
That's
or
what
talk
I
to lots
meant.
of different pantheons?
Yeah, that's I think how it would work very well together is when you're in that bartering part where everybody's like doubling down and trying to, like, that's them, or maybe they come to a custody agreement.
I get them on Mondays and Thursdays.
Because we've actually
Summers are mine.
Because we've had examples in this kindred specifically where, there's maybe people that get talked to by Freyr and Bacchus.
Yeah.
Right? They're basically, in essence, very similar, almost the same guy. But, they go back and forth between the two, right? So, like, they're, especially when you start looking into Proto-Indo-European religions, and they're so similar.
Right.
Like, how does the Dibs differ there? Because they're, those of us that do that can't be the only ones.
Right,
Well,
and obviously you're not.
And
Because,
Go ahead.
sorry, obviously they're not the only ones who experience that, because we run into a lot of people who are very much, at least by pantheon, if not more. Shut up is the proper
I
grammar.
like it. I like it a lot. It's like, I can be by Pantheon. Let me be by Allie.
A lot of the times it comes from Scandinavian and Celtic. You'll get a lot of the Twaf and Danan thrown in with the SC and Banu.
And something that several of us believe in this kindred is the Celtic and Druid gods are just Vanic gods anyways. So it's actually just another facet of Norse mythology.
And Jesus Christ is Loki.
That's another video.
That is
entirely.
another video entirely.
I'm teasing for that one. That's a tangent.
We need a
But
different camera.
basically, it like if you would like to attribute it to Allie's and I's Dibs version, that could also be where the free will and not fully devoting yourself to one pantheon comes in at, because just because a pantheon has called dibs on you, with the free will aspect, you don't have to go to that pantheon. I mean, they would love for you to, and once you are completely in it, it feels different, but they're not going to be like, no, you can come into ours, you cannot leave.
Have you met the Greeks?
No, I personally haven't.
That's one of my biggest, not issues, that's one of my things with their Dibs theory that I'm like, because like in a lot of Hindu and Asian religions, especially the pagan Asian religions, fate is extremely like out. Like
Right.
the gods know what you are doing day to day to day to day. So then those gods want power, yeah? Gods love power. So why don't like the Shinto gods and like the Hindu gods just claim everybody? Like, no, because we know everything about them. Shut up. No free will. Fuck you. Come here. It's fate. It's just fate.
But in the same sense, every religion has fate.
Yeah, but the Norns and like the Norns only know when you die. That is the only thing the Norns know.
You can
Okay.
bribe them.
You can
They
bribe,
are
yeah.
bribable.
Now they can see into your future and they can glimpse things like a Voldva or like a CRS and stuff like that. But the Norns themselves do not hold the string of your
That's
life.
right. That's
They
right.
just like, oh, this is just the string of Yggdrasil. I just gotta, oh, that dude. Wait, oh, that dude. Oh, there he goes. They only know the day you die. That's the only thing the Norns know.
I like the tapestry metaphor of that, where they're
Yeah.
constantly weaving the tapestry, and your thread of life is part of the tapestry that goes into the universal picture. And so if you've ever woven a tapestry or looked really close at the threads and cloth, and sometimes you'll see, if it's supposed to go over, under, but there's like over, under, right, and it skips one. I feel like if you look closely at the tapestry of life, that's like someone did some shit
Oh, yeah.
that they weren't necessarily supposed to do, but they got away with, they were supposed to die at that point. And the Norns were like, alright, you bribed us enough, I guess.
And then you randomly get to the end, and there's like over, under, and then it just sticks out straight, and it's gone. Like it's just snipped somewhere. That dude died.
But, so back to the Dibs thing. Wait, so, I feel like y'all were talking about two different points here. What if you look angry because the eyebrows on the mask? So, when two different pantheons are talking to you, right? So, like, I'll use the Freyr and Bacchus example, right? If both of them specifically talk, like both of those dudes call dibs, like, does that follow Dibs theory? If one pantheon calls the dibs, what happens when you got two pantheons are like, no, I don't want this, no, I don't want this.
That's what I'm saying, though. Maybe there's a custody agreement or something. Because, no, straight up, because it's one of those moments where this is not a foolproof theory. This is something that occurred to me one day, and I was like, oh, that's brilliant. I have to share it with the world. And
This video is for Ellie's ego. Support it, subscribe.
my ego does not have its own channel, but thank you anyways.
Thumbs up for my ego.
Yeah, thumbs up for Chris's.
Comment for mine.
Share. Aw, dang it. I like that one. Follow for mine.
Yeah.
But
Subscribe for your ego.
yeah. I
Keep
get it.
learning.
Now. I
You just
get it.
keep-
Okay, anyways.
We're so
So
bad.
basically, when most people call dibs, a lot of times, say you're calling shotgun, yeah?
Okay.
And whoever you're trying to call shotgun against, how often do they call it the same time as you?
Very rarely.
Okay, then you obviously don't play shotgun that often.
No.
Okay,
it's
for a
'cause-
normal person.
For a normal person, I understand what you're saying, but like my family, my sister, she's the oldest, so she's the princess. She always gets shotgun, then the next oldest gets the shotgun.
Fair
Unless
enough.
I want to sit in the back seat.
Fair enough. That's fair. But
Let's pretend that on a regular basis, shotgun gets called at the same time.
so what do you do then? Pinch poke, you owe me a Coke, whatever. What would you do? It's one of those moments where in which with the gods it's probably
Hum gum.
well not no do not
Slide to the desk so I can ride in the front fucking seat.
Yes, I can totally see where you're coming from on this, because it usually ends up in like, alright, fine. I sit this time, but on the way back, I get it.
So
Like when you call a safe seat and you just end up sitting in each other's laps.
Yeah.
I feel like Frere and Bacchus sit in each other's laps.
I mean,
Metaphorically, they're sitting on your lap.
because in the way that I believe in the gods, they both exist as separate entities. So I mean, who's to say that they don't get a little bit weird?
They do.
Exactly. So the gods obviously they have relationships with each other. Whether they have romantic is a completely different thing.
Sure.
But they do engage with each other. They do speak to each other. They acknowledge each other's existence. I'm sure they go to war against each other because the people are annoying. I can't imagine what gods are like from different
the ego.
pantheons. Right? The ego alone. Subscribe, like, or share for the egos of the gods.
Or comment.
Or comment, yes. We want comments because we like interacting with people.
Yeah, we want to know your point of view on these theories that we've kind of just thrown out there willy-nilly. Like.
Absolutely. But no, it would be very much a fine, we'll share. This human can be ours. Can't be your pantheons. Keep your pantheon in your pants. But we'll share. And we'll see who he goes to. Kind of like who will the dog go to in like a custody battle?
No, who calls it?
Yeah.
Secretly has bacon strips. Yeah. Secretly hiding bacon strips, not telling
Pretty
anyone.
much.
And you might, I know. And then you have the instances where, it might be offending. So you might have gods who have called dibs and see you interacting with other gods, and they be like, just pick a side already! And what do you do with that?
Well, okay, so all the gods want power, yeah?
My life.
Right? Free will. All the gods want power. So ultimately, when I'm going to start that sentence over.
Okay.
All the gods want power. So with each believer they get, the more power they have. If they're having to split that belief with a different pantheon, that's just like it's like taking a chalkboard and the gods each have a tally mark for each believer between the different pantheons, and it's just like a tally war. So the Greeks are sitting over here and they've got like 9 tallies, and the Norse are over here with 9 tallies, and they've got one person in the middle that's just like, give it to me. Tell me which side you're going so we can stop erasing numbers.
So like at this point they're both at least it's not the White Christ.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the way I look at that, I'm like, yeah, but why wouldn't they just go to war over it? And the Greeks are immortal, and you kill them, they just respawn on Olympus regardless. Our gods don't have that fucking luxury.
Right. But our gods are also very much, hold my meat and watch this.
I like the way Bernard Cornwell put it in his Saxon Chronicle novels. Really awesome. He doesn't know we exist. So, if you've seen the Last Kingdom series on Netflix, they talk about the main character's name is Uhtred, and he has this internal battle the entire time where he was raised by Danes, so he loves and believes in the Norse gods, but he's also English, so he has the nailed god that he's constantly in the back of his mind, and of course he's fighting for England, so that's always part of it. He's like, he tells his son, we believe in so many gods, why can't he exist too? So there's even a couple instances where he's so far up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, he's like, all of you? Alright, I guess you two. I'll just take whoever's willing to listen. Help me out.
Right.
Like the guy in the Mummy, almost. We've mentioned that once before.
Oh my goodness.
He's got every symptom.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody, just do something, please.
Which god has power over you? Oh, okay. Oh, Star of David, it works.
Yeah. I think though with mine, the Dibs theory is a bit more lighter, because then it's just like Chris is just out doing his own thing, but Heimdall was like, look, do you want to see some shit? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, little baby kid. He grabbed me by the scruff. Let's go. And boom, I'm looking at Yggdrasil. Like, the whole universe is splayed out before him. And he's like, look what I can show you. And I'm like, bet. We're done. Got it. Norse Pantheon, here we go. Diving in, head first. Let's do this.
I feel like that would be definitely part of the free will thing. If we're evolving this theory live for an audience, is if we take both halves of that Dibs theory, put it together with the free will, while they're sitting there like, $5, he's mine. No, $10, he's mine. And then they're like, grab the human, show the human what we can do for the human.
Yeah.
And then human makes up their own mind like a puppy.
Well, and the thing is, that's another reason why a lot of us don't come to the Norse Pantheon, because our gods are much like, look what we can do. I can do for you, and you can do for me. A lot of the other pantheons like, look at all the things I've got. You want some of this? Odin is like, you want some knowledge? All right, it's gonna suck a little bit. You're gonna have to spend some time just reading some shit. It's really boring, but it's in there. Just go get it. It's the way I like to metaphorically say, sacrifice an eye. You know, you read so long, your eyes start hurting, you gotta like rub a little bit, you're like, I can't do it. You're sacrificing part of yourself, your time to you, to become better and knowledgeable. That is a sacred thing in this religion.
Yes.
So I'll take that then, and I'll expand a little bit on Chris's Dibs theory. Because both Freyr and Bacchus are debaucherous gods, right? They're both drinking, fucking, and lots to eat, right? So sometimes the Dibs theory is not necessarily one god that's represented by, so like Heimdall the seer, like whatever the god may represent can also be what grabs you. It could be that thought process, that way of life is what dibs you, right? So my dibs would be debauchery, I guess.
And even
and that could be what drew their attention to you.
Yeah. Like you say with the Last Kingdom, it's the same in the Vikings TV show. Ragnar says to Athelstan, there is no reason that my god and your god cannot share mead.
Yeah.
I would have no issue, and this is the kind of gods we have, if you could just like walk into Valhalla just a few times and you just see Jesus at the table, just getting hammered with some Reinhardt and Odin. Right. Because he's probably like, dude, heaven kind of is boring.
Lots of happy people doing nothing.
Nobody feels anything. Everyone's just real happy, and I can't stop having to answer questions. Everyone's got
It's
questions.
his lunch break.
Yeah.
He's getting trashed. Yeah.
It's alright. The water is great.
Yeah. With the two Dibs theories, one of them is, they go hand in hand very well. But I've always been much more the subscriber to the idea of this is all me. I do what I want with it, and they just get to be along for the ride. It kind of goes into our package video that was recently done.
That we did last Monday.
Yeah.
In the same clothes.
Or that we skipped a few weeks and somehow we're wearing the exact same outfit. With a Dibs theory, though, or just feeling that something is called to you, you can very easily stop listening to everything else. But yeah, if you have Bacchus and Freyr calling to you, don't scorn one god just because you think the pantheon of the other is the only one you want to subscribe to.
That's a good way to get fucked up.
Yes.
Because it's still a god.
Right. I just, not disbelieve, it's a really horrible way to put it, but I just don't believe enough in any other gods to give them enough power to be in my life.
And I mean, that's one way to also look at it. If you do decide that you only want to subscribe to one pantheon, not believing in other pantheons is going to be the best way to basically get them off your back. Because they'll be like, okay, I have no source of power with you, so why am I wasting my time?
American Gods is a really cool way to learn how to deal with trickster gods or tricky gods. Yeah. That book's pretty much all about don't give the god a cookie because then he'll want...
There's another unpaid for Neil Gaiman plug right there.
Eventually we'll get him. Eventually he'll hear about this.
I hope so.
Hi, Neil.
Hi, Neil. We love you. Sign our copies, please.
Let us meet you and not have to drive to Lawrence.
So going back onto what you're talking about with like the free will aspects thing is
You have something on my face.
it's the angry eyes. It's the angry eyes. All right, so the because we're back to the baggage video and free will, it's not a subservient religion. We do what we want, and it's whether or not we make the God smile will depend on whether or not we gain favor. Right? Sometimes you talk shit on the God so they make it rain for 2 months.
Or slam your head into a car.
Or slam your head into a car. Sometimes you do some really awesome stuff, and you're walking your dog on a really hot day, and there's a water bottle that's never been opened. It's like, hey, my dog really needed that. Right? There's all kinds of ways that the relationship goes back and forth without us being subservient, but we still represent love and gift to them all the time.
Watch out for the Greek gods, though. I mean, I'm just letting you know, like, that Greek gods and Greek pantheon, and then Roman, because Romans just copied Greek. These gods are very much more like, oh, you talking to the side bitch now, huh? Lightning bolt.
Man, that dude... Alright, we're not going to get into that.
Just know that some pantheons are very much more my precious, and other pantheons are much more like, hey, precious.
That's my boo.
Yeah.
Some gods are so, we'll say, jealous that they made a certain set of rules.
Yeah.
And one of them specifically says...
Don't talk to any other gods. These are just spirits of the land, and they're evil.
Yeah.
So that, more or less,
Bad.
just to blatantly say it, because that's an amazing analogy, Jesus Christ is like that really, really obsessive boyfriend who doesn't let you have dude friends.
Has to check your phone all the time,
Yeah.
make sure you're not texting anybody else.
That's what that is, just so you know who you're dealing with.
I'm sure there's some way that it's possible to believe in some pantheon and Jesus Christ, because who knows if the Ten Commandments actually happened or if that was added to the Bible by men for control. We don't know. That's up to the gods to decide in your afterlife, man.
Or we can finally find that stupid ark and pop it open.
Right?
Okay.
But I don't want my face to melt off, so...
We'll have a Christian open it.
Yeah.
Alright, y'all got anything else to add on that?
This has been a nice fun video,
Yeah,
so...
That was fun. Alright, make sure to comment,
Like.
Subscribe.
And share.
Don't forget, hit the bell. YouTube likes to act all funky on you.
We upload every Monday at around 5:45 to 6 o'clock, if not 5 o'clock.
And
So,
give us your theories down in the comment section. Comments are one of our favorite ways to talk to everybody. We're not getting as many as we want. Anybody mean 0, when we need at least 1 per video.
Yeah.
mostly because we just want to know what your thoughts are so
Yep.
that we can produce better content for you.
And the questions that the people are asking, because that's what we're here to answer. We are a well, after all. So just grab your horn, get a big drink.
And as always,
Thank you for drinking from the well.